Hello, everybody.
Hi, I do want to say welcome to the first of the webinar series on results, and thanks to Bob and his team for joining us as well. Certainly looking forward to this. It's been something we've been wanting to get started for a while, as far as the just the webinars and talking about results, uh, the results CRM, the results field service manager. There are so many facets to results that I'm looking forward to getting involved in. If somebody sent you here to this link, it wasn't us or the results team, and you want more information, certainly get back with those people so we can get you some more information. They'll get with us. I just want to make sure that they get credit for bringing you here. But yeah, with that, Bob, thanks so much for joining us. I know we've got a lot to talk about as far as results go, but I'm looking forward to. I've already seen the slide deck, and I'm excited about what you've got to offer here. So,
Well, Brandon, thank you. Appreciate you inviting us to this webinar series and for being such a great partner with Results. We just love the way Barron's looks after their clients and supports so many fantastic pro advisors and other consultants in the market. And these kinds of solutions plus QuickBooks make such an impact to help businesses grow and manage their business and scale up and or improve efficiencies. And looking forward to talking about some of those scenarios today. So thank you. And with that, just to confirm that we've got our attendees on and they're hearing us. Can anybody make a comment in the chat just to share, hey, we're coming through loud and clear?
maybe
All
we'll
right.
get something here in a minute, Bob. I can hear you just fine. So,
Okay. Yeah, good deal. All right. So with that, let's share.
while you're pulling that up, Bob, I think it's important to note, as far as especially in the QuickBooks world and kind of the ever changing pace of QuickBooks and QuickBooks Online and all of that. I'm excited about the one of the things that we're looking at results for, using it internally as well as with our customers, is having a central point, a central hub. Maybe that's not QuickBooks, or maybe it's not whatever accounting software you're using, but making results be the central hub without having to worry about whether this is going to change or they're going to remove uh, or change the subscription or something like that, like they have with QuickBooks. I say that we've been a QuickBooks focused company for 20 years, but there's been a lot of movement with QuickBooks. So that's really what we're looking at with results, is making that the central hub and making the that integration with the accountings also there, but we don't have to worry about it moving or changing. We can kind of use it as a pivot point. So
Oh,
I'll shut up and let you demo now.
yeah. So I love that. That thought, results were a CRM solution. And just want to make sure you're seeing my CRM service operations field service management slide there.
Yes.
Okay, great. Um, the um, the solution is really designed to help businesses manage their many relationships in all.
Bob, I muted you and I didn't mean to.
I'm unmuted now. Thanks.
Meant to mute myself.
So we're yeah. So we in addition to managing the contact relationship, our solution manages all the other aspects, as can help you manage the other aspects as well. So you have access to the data that you'd see in QuickBooks. So invoices and payments and the accounting related to it, or if you happen to be using QuickBooks for job costing or project accounting, that can be synced as well. So you can see all that in results, but you can also manage projects. You can manage activities, sales orders, purchase orders, all that stuff in results. And so I think you're right. The heart of a business is in the relationships and the ongoing business they do. And sometimes that's in a CRM system and maybe not in the accounting system. But when you can connect those two together, that's when the business is, it's got the head and heart together, and then you work better. So our solution helps businesses really thrive in this all digital work anywhere world, supporting their client activities, whether that's from the office, working from home, in the field, or a combination of all of that. So today we're going to do a brief overview of results, and then we're going to talk about some of the specific areas and some client situations where these different features have made all the difference for them. And those stories, I think, can be helpful for those of you who have a similar business, or as a pro advisor attending, thinking about, or consultant thinking about how this works for your clients. So with that, just a little bit about results. A few of us leaders from Results have been around a while. Sam, our founder and CEO, has been in the business of developing CRM systems now for 35 years. This is the second iteration of Results. It was an on-prem version. Now we're in the cloud. Randy Johnston is a thought leader in the accounting technology world. He is our Chief Technology Officer and is a co-founder with Sam. And then my role on the team is, marketing, sales, partnerships, kind of all the work in building those relationships and growing them. And our solutions, this is the way we package them today as the CRM features, sales features, business management features, or operations. And then we have field service capabilities. Integrations are really important. Deep integration with QuickBooks Desktop, QuickBooks Online, different country versions of QuickBooks, plus Avatax for those that use or need a sales tax solution, Outlook and Gmail, and then some others. So plugging this in to your system and that connected, head and heart approach is where a business can really take off. And so then, some of those extensions, right? This is how Results can add value to build your QuickBooks into a full cloud ERP. And so that the people in your business can access the information they need. They may not have access to QuickBooks and maybe shouldn't, but they may need information on invoicing and payments. But we can also enable them with a lot of other capabilities, obviously CRM and operations management for their services. We do have time and billing. We keep track of some inventory. We're not an inventory management system, but let's say you need to keep track of inventory that's on on your trucks as your teams are out there serving clients. That's the type of capability we've got, and it syncs with whatever you have in QuickBooks to see what's available. We have document management, web portal for all kinds of contacts, whether that's a client, a vendor, business partners. So you can use that in a number of ways. There's just a great deal of power. And then so thinking about that, for some of us who are, who've been using QuickBooks Desktop and it's time to get going to the cloud and move into QuickBooks Online, we have some areas where we can help bridge the gap. And we don't support all of them, But if you need sales orders or you need price levels, more sales tax capability, extensive custom fields, and then, or, contact management, we have all that built in. And then if you need advanced reporting or highly tailored forms like purchase orders, we can help you create those. And so, just talk to us if those are things you need, and we can figure out if we've got the right solution. We don't do everything, as I mentioned. We don't do fixed assets or support multi-currency unless that's already in the accounting system, batch invoicing, progress invoicing, job costing, etc. So those gaps, you'll need to look in other solutions. So, what we do and what we don't do, sometimes helpful to know.
For sure. Bob, can you go back one slide? Well, 2 slides now. Yeah, that right. So as far as our business goes, we're kind of, and you and I have talked about it, but over the past year, really pivoted. A lot of bookkeepers and accounting providers end up doing a lot more than just bookkeeping, right? So I love, I remember when you guys developed this particular image right here, but it just goes to show how it all ties together. The way that we've pivoted is really becoming an integrations partner rather than just an accounting partner. So when you're looking at projects or time and billing or document management, all of these things really have really inspired the way that we do our practice management, but also the way that we can develop our practice, the way that we're helping our customers. So I love this particular image, but I think that it kind of stands out. It shows what we can do or how we can pivot our own business as we continue to move forward in the QuickBooks or accounting space. That it's not just QuickBooks or accounting, but it's the things that we can implement for our customers.
That's awesome. I love that. And, being part of that, the solutions that complete the solution stack for a client, and with your role as their solutions consultant, helping them assess, hey, is results the right answer? Is it something else? Is it pieces of several things? As long as they're all integrated and connected, or you can even build connectors, there's value to all that work you do. So thank you. We appreciate being part of that solution set. Awesome. So get back to a couple of ideal, these are some we've designed and focused our solutions to support companies in these industries. And while we have all kinds of examples of clients outside of them, this is where we've seen some concentration in using our CRM solutions for companies with services or project management requirements. Typically, companies that have a recurring relationship, who need to manage a relationship more than one delivery, one service. They really see the value. And so we've got accounting firm clients, consulting, even light manufacturers who have channels and do some assembly or installation, distribution companies, franchises who have multiple locations. They want to have some control over that design and the solutions, even co-branding or white labeling in some situations is an option. And then in the field service category, and we're doing a separate webinar to dive deeper on all this. I do have a client example of this, an HVAC client a little bit though, but we're talking about some other features, not the field service capabilities specifically. But this is also a deep area of concentration for us in features and capabilities and clients. So heating and air conditioning vendors, HVAC, construction contractors, all types, plumbers, electrical, roofing, especially those that do some retail as well as support for contractors. We're a fantastic solution for those multi-channel businesses, inspections and compliance, and we'll talk about some of the feature scenarios here in a bit. And that's really where I think the solution meets the need, right? And it's not always an industry, it's not always a specific period in a company's growth, but those are often triggers. So, the first area I talked about, a few different areas of where we help clients manage growth, right? So the drivers of growth and managing that growth are very much related. So a 360-degree view of your client relationships is an important capability. And one story, and while talking to many of our clients over the last 6 months of ramping up here at Results, and from when I joined the company, this has been a recurring story for those that really focus on contact management. And Positive Power Nutrition is one of those clients. They manufacture vitamins and nutritional supplements, which is a retail product. And their niche is with smaller retail and health clubs, and distributors. And so they've got many relationships, and so they have a lot of smaller transactions versus, say, selling to big box stores. And so the 7 years they've been using Results, they started with Results on premise. We now call Results Classic. They've moved to Results 2023, which is Results Cloud. And over that time, they've managed to grow their business a little bit. But what they've been able to do is dramatically improve margins and productivity. So they went from a team of 21 people, many of them sales and support, down to 7 people over those 7 years, while still increasing sales. This is an amazing story for them. It's really helped them to be a much healthier business, more profitable, and serve their clients better. So with that, let me show some of the features here. So let's just confirm. Are you seeing my contacts data manager?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Cool. So yeah, when you come into Results, you can start from any screen. This is the dashboard, which gives you that global view. The contacts section is what I'm going to talk about right here. So this is where you have a 360-degree view of all the contacts or relationships that you manage for the business. And so I'll open up a record and talk about why this is such a powerful tool. So of course, there's the basic information that you have. We've got Sam here, our founder and CEO, and some of the basic information. And each of these cards, we'll just call them, right, as I'm going to open and close this one here. So this is a card, and it's sized specifically so that it'll show up nicely in a mobile device. And so if you're using our solution from a mobile device, you'll see one card width, and then all this will be vertical. But on a tablet, you'll see 2. On a laptop, you might see 3. On a widescreen monitor, 4. And super widescreen monitors, many. So it's very flexible in what you can do with the views, and it remembers the device type you're in, and you can save your preferences. So it's very, very easy to see what's important to you. But that's just to show the flexibility. The power is that now for Sam's record, I'm just hiding the top section, which I can open up easily. I've got this is the 360-degree view of any notes we have, activities that we've had with Sam, documents, agreements, images, proposals, you just keep going down the list, any sales orders, projects. And so if you're using these capabilities, they'll show. If you're not using them for a particular business where you're using results, they will not. So you can tailor which ones are visible based on your use of the product. Of course, we've turned everything on for this demo account. And you can jump into an account, a project, you can see the details. It's very powerful. And or invoice items and payments. So you can answer questions. You can be in client support and answer questions without having to be able to, say, hey, let me ask accounting and get back to you. You have all the information there. Hence the efficiency, right? We're back to that value of the 360-degree view.
While you're still on the screen, Bob, what I love about and just because QuickBooks has kind of been our thing for 20 years, even though we're kind of moving on beyond that. The fact that we can look here and see invoices or payments, we can receive, but there's so many different things that we can do right inside of here without going to QuickBooks. It allows us to scale out the accounting department or the sales department or those departments that directly impact the accounting side of it. So if we're using, say, Essentials and we have 3 users already in QuickBooks, we don't have to allow those users in QuickBooks, or we can allow those users outside of QuickBooks access to results in order to make those entries that's going to flow directly back into the accounting. So I think it's a huge driver for scalability when you're talking about accepting payments or sending out invoices or answering those questions like you were talking about. So that I wanted to point that out, that they don't have to have access to the QuickBooks or to the accounting platform itself. They can stay within this project or within this software and still impact the accounting side without having direct access to it.
Nice. And another section, and just to exemplify some of that power also, right? So in addition to the accounting data being in here, all the different relationships a particular contact might have. So if it's a family, an individual in the family business, you want to keep track.
I did it again. I muted you. I meant to mute myself.
You're good at that, Brandon. Try to keep me down. So if you're trying to keep track of all the many relationships you have, that is very capable. Our solution enables that. So if you have influencer relationships, service providers you network with, essentially people who refer business and clients and you work with, you can keep track of those connections as well. So you can recognize the value of those relationships and thank people and have special events or many different things you could do when you have that knowledge. So that is the focus on the 360-degree view of relationships. And in addition, so other benefits, staying on top of things, right? So I know that's a very generic kind of thing, but as a company's growing, their business is growing, the volume of what they have to manage, and oftentimes the complexity of it is becoming a challenge. So, simply staying on top of things as you scale up is a real, and somewhat, simple way to state all of that complexity coming into your business. And one of those, and this is another area in the solution, is keeping track of activities and who's responsible for next steps. And so this client of ours, La Esquina Latina, they're an accounting business, They do outsourced accounting and bookkeeping for over 1,000 business clients, and their unique focus is Spanish or Latin speaking clients, and so their challenge is getting the documents, managing the productivity, keeping the team informed when, hey, we're ready to do this week's, this day's, this month's bookkeeping process. We're ready to close. We need to let our accounting manager on the team know that they need to close the books and prepare the financials. So all those different steps, keeping all of that in one place, keeping track. And so let's go back into results, and we'll touch on some of those capabilities. So one thing though I didn't show before in contacts is search. So you can do a great search here. And so you can search by name, you can search by business, and in Contact Manager, in addition, you can search by even more fields, but here's a unique differentiator. So we have a sounds like search. So how often is, you've been on the phone and thinking, okay, I need to find Kathy. Oh, wait, it's Kathy with a K. Well, you have to search, so many different names today. Jamie can be spelled a bunch of ways, Kathy and others, right? So as people have developed more individuality with naming, it's really a valuable feature. So then now back to keeping on top of things, right? So that's really about your own activities as well as managing a team's activities. So here's managing activities. So my activities for the day, I can see, okay, I've missed something from welcoming aboard Oren Juarez. I'm going to move that forward. And then let's see, do I have time at noon? Oh, looks like I do. I have time at noon. So let's drop that into today's schedule. And then, so I can drag and drop around my activities. I can move things around. And then when you're looking at teams, you can do similar. We'll look at that in a little bit. So along with keeping track of your individual stuff, you can also look at activities in a data manager view. And so this is a place where you can, and like in the contact data manager, there's a tremendous amount of power in this screen. So you can change the columns that you're seeing. So if you want to see recurrence, month, year, documents that are linked, a description, a location, there's all kinds of fields, and you can tailor those easily. And then you can filter what you're looking for based on one or many of these, very much like a pivot table in Excel. And so it's very easy to get to the data that you're looking for, whether that's, and then with simple capabilities like it's not equal to, it starts with, it contains. So all those are very easy. Of course, simple sorting, ascending, descending, as it all built right in. And then, so those are, keeping track of your activities. We can also go to a projects board and see the projects we have across the team. So now I can take a look and see what's happening and realize, okay, let's see, how are these doing? I want to look at a project we have in process and maybe one that we can move forward. So, let's look in here. We can go in, take a look at the project. We can see who's linked to it. You can open that link. So from a summary view, you can go see a project, you can see what's going on, You can see who's talked to Udo Rodriguez and what activities there are. And you can realize, uh-oh, there's not one. I need to assign something, so I can create an activity and I can decide, hey, I want my sales team to give a call to Udo Rodriguez. And so I can specifically give some comments and assign it to someone and make that happen. And this one will be, yeah, so we can keep that going. And this one's assigned, so I can pick someone on the team. I want Rahul, who's on our business development team, and would like Rahul to call Uta, and I can pick a time and day and all that, make notes, etc. So it's very easy to manage activities across the team, keep things moving in your business. And so, and this really comes all back to staying on top of things, right? You've got a more complicated business. You need to be able to keep a summary view of your sales and projects and activities. And so each of these areas of our product have this board or dashboard view, and then the data manager view to see all the lists. And another example, so calendars. So here's an individual calendar, my calendar here. You can select multiple users for the calendar. And with that, I've actually opened a separate window. And so you can use results in multiple windows. And many of our clients actually do that, especially around managing calendars. So they can have multiple calendar windows open to keep track of a variety of activities. So in this case, we can see what's going on for these three folks. We may actually assign, unassigned work. In this case, I'm not sure. I don't think we have anything in the unassigned, but if you did, you can. So what this will enable you to do is see, hey, we've got a project assigned. We need to assign it to someone, or an activity, or a sales call, or a service visit, whatever that might be. So unassigned is an important bucket to be able to keep track of. And so when you have new things happen, oftentimes you need to pick a date or a time, but you haven't decided who's going to deliver. And there's tremendous value there. So staying on top of things is huge when you're growing your business, and a big part of what La Esquina Latina, the Latin corner, needs results to help them with. So, Brandon, another thing that businesses are looking to do as they're scaling and growing is figuring out, okay, I'm keeping track of my processes. What about standardizing them and creating automation, triggers, steps? When you're talking with businesses, are you ever finding they're looking to automate and improve their process?
What I find when I'm talking to a lot of small business SMBs is they've not thought about automating it, but realizing when we start having that conversation how much time could be saved, and when things get dropped, that they forgot to do the next step. That once this step is done, instead of automating, still doing the manual process, that somebody dropped the ball and didn't pull the trigger to start the next step. So yeah, for sure.
That's so true. I mean, often when we're talking with our potential clients, or even our existing clients who've used the system for a while, they sometimes have a process, and they've just been living in it for so long, they don't always recognize where some of that potential is for improvement. And so yeah, by having a conversation about it, what are your important processes? What are some of the business challenges? Where are you tracking this and where are you tracking that? Helps us uncover that when we're when we're helping a client assess is results good for them or not. It's
Yeah,
more of an
and
evaluation process than a sales process.
yeah, and it's not part of this particular webinar. We'll get into it in the third or fourth one, but leveraging those automations, be it Zapier, webhooks, or some kind of API that's already built in. So there's a number of things that we can do with results to help automate that stuff. But it's certainly a conversation that adds value to our practice when we start talking about somebody else. Um, and that discovery call, even if somebody calls us about a particular pain point they're having, just maybe it's in QuickBooks, maybe it's in their CRM or whatever, but doing a full discovery call and finding out some of the problems they have, they don't even know they're having yet. They don't know what's a problem yet, or something that we can fix. But there's a lot of things that we can fix because of the automation that Results brings to the table that I think will expand our services, but also help those companies that we're working with. So
Yeah.
that's a big piece that, and I know we're not going to get into that yet today, but that's certainly something that I think a lot of practices need to start looking at if you want to start branching out and scaling your own coaching business. But even for a business owner that's watching this particular video, that's something I should do. I should probably talk to somebody about that and talk to us or some other provider if you're not sure how to automate that stuff, or what Zapier does, or how it works, or what a webhook is, or how we might integrate different solutions in order to not drop the ball or speed up the processes that you're already doing.
Awesome. Yes. I mean, we're going to get into a much deeper focus session on that later in the series. But yeah, I'll give you a glimpse of it here and a little bit with one of our clients. And we actually have a slide kind of on this one, not just the story. We've developed this one a little bit more. So A1 Guaranteed is a longtime provider of heating and air conditioning services implementation in the Bay Area of California, San Francisco Bay Area. And they were going through a period of rapid growth and had a lot of additional complexity. And I'm not sure how familiar you are with this particular business. And there is a field component. We're not going to focus on that part of this until our next webinar. But what they do is they've got a lot of steps in a process when a new sale happens. So when you're selling a new system to a client, you may need to make sure you have the right equipment. So there's the heating and air conditioning unit or heat pump or whatever the equipment is going to be, the ducting, all of that. There's a crew that's going to go out there. There's a van. There's also a process to get permits and schedule inspections. And in many cases, local governments or utilities offer energy rebates if you upgrade your system, and you can show that you're putting in a system that's more efficient. Just think of all those steps. Well, and I'll show you here in a second how our solution can do some of those things for you. And in this case, that's the game changer for A1 Guaranteed. When a new sale happens, each of those processes is automatically initiated. So it lets the person who does all their purchasing know, hey, we need to get the equipment for a sale for a client. It's the scheduler knows, hey, I've got to get a crew. I've got to align that with the client's desired implementation dates. We've got the communication with the city or the county. And so it triggers the person that manages that. So as their business is, a couple dozen, two and a half dozen people, they've got specialized work and crews that do different things. And so keeping all those people aligned to support one exceptional service experience for a client is that's why they find they're winning in the market. They lead with service excellence, and that's what we enable. And so, some of that capability here back into results is where we see a process automation. So define processes and workflows is a section of the product. We've got a couple of processes here. We're just going to look at them quickly. So, hey, when you hire a new employee and you don't do it that often every day, forgets the steps. There's a few things you got to do. I mean, there's obvious things. Hey, we got to set them up with payroll and maybe benefits if you offer those. Give them a PC. And so anyway, the point is you can set up a process, and we've got a variety of steps here. There's a welcome call, and any of these steps that you have as a business, you can trigger to remind the right people to take action. And so they get a great welcome. This is one example. And there's a couple other examples, like a new lead. Hey, what do we want to happen? We get a new lead. We want to get it into the system. We want to have the right person call them. Maybe we want them to ask some specific questions. So call to qualify the lead. What are some of the questions we want to have our team ask, and remind them, hey, these are the things we need. And here's the place where you can track the notes. And if you wish, you can schedule the next step. And those are all steps in this case that have been automated, and or a new sale, right? Like we were just talking about for A1 Guaranteed, which was just their game changer around driving service excellence. Like in a business like heating and air conditioning, so much of that's driven based on service and reviews. So, when I'm looking for service in my area, I check Yelp, I check Google reviews, and those scores make a huge difference. So it usually determines whether or not I'm going to consider a particular provider or not. Now, not everybody does that, but I think many do, and clearly those are very important scores and services. And so, A1 Guarantee recognized that early, and it's been a huge value for them. So now then another growth driver is, optimizing that sales to service delivery. So, you're keeping track of your sales, you're looking at your pipeline, and that's great. It's and we help with that. But the harder part is connecting that and operationalizing it. So if you're a service business, or like this particular client, Roll Shade, they're a manufacturer and service business. So Roll Shade is one of the largest providers of window shades, specializing in franchises. And so you see a couple of images here. The one on the right, that's Mod Pizza. The one on the left, that's a Starbucks. Those are two of their franchises that they support. And as you can imagine, Starbucks in particular is a very demanding customer. They expect excellence and perfection. And we were talking with the president of Roll Shade a few days ago. He was sharing how their business has grown since COVID has happened. They've expanded and gained more share with these customers, and so their business has grown 50% in that period of time. And then the other issue is the number of people and the size of the teams who've been on the other side to manage the client side projects has gotten to be less. So they actually have to do more project management. They've increased their business 50%, And they've done that by only increasing headcount by 8%. So, and they've done that with results, helping them make the connection between the many consultants and implementers they work with, as well as their own direct team. So you can imagine they have folks that go out and work with some of the new stores that get opened, or the existing stores that need new window shades. And they measure and they figure out the sizing, and then they have to keep track of all that to minute detail. And then they've got to manufacture it, then they've got to deliver it and schedule it. And sometimes it's their own direct team doing all of it. Other times it's a solution partner who's implementing and doing all of it, or a hybrid. So they have a tremendous amount of complexity, multiple manufacturing and warehouse locations, and a client may have a different billing location. There might be a general contractor who gets the shipment, or a subcontractor, and the billing goes somewhere else. And so there's, as you can imagine, a very complicated bill to and ship to possibility for each and every sale, yet they still want to see how much business they've done with just one of the customers, one of these franchises. So, it makes a complicated situation for them simple, efficient, and has allowed them to grow. And they're incredibly happy with what we've been able to do for them, and loving also our cloud solution, which interestingly, they asked us, this was a big new addition for us, if we could think about improving their business process by enabling them to do invoicing out of Results instead of QuickBooks. But in order to do that, they need to have sales tax calculations. So they asked if we could integrate in Avatax, and it was a bit of a hurry because they were transitioning, and it was going to be a big move to switch their invoicing process. And so in the matter of a few weeks, we built it and rolled it out. So at times we have big things that are needed, new features and capabilities. As long as they're going to be useful for many clients, we can prioritize those things and expand our feature set and capabilities. So and then with that, we can take another look, and we've got just 10 minutes left, so it'll be quick. But here's where you can see in our sales capabilities, this is where you can do estimates, and an estimate can convert to a sales order or an invoice. So you can create estimates, work it all the way through sales order and invoice. This will integrate with QuickBooks. So, this particular estimate, hey, this looks great. Once you get the sale, you can then, convert that. You can move it to an invoice, or to, if you're using sales orders, use sales orders. And so that's a great capability if you need that. And in particular, if you need sales orders and you want to move to QuickBooks Online, which doesn't have much capability in that area, you could still stay in the QuickBooks franchise and move to QBO and use the sales order features. Or with proposals are when you want to create projects. So you want a more complicated, multi-person or phased service delivery for a project, whether it's a professional service or a field service or other kind of service. And so then that can also trigger, you can set it up to trigger an invoice. Now, project billing, you can bill on all kinds of things, right? So you may bill some money up front, you might bill in phases, you might bill all at the end with delivery. And so it doesn't just automatically trigger something a certain way. You'll want to initiate that for each project if you have, or set up a regular process that will work the same way if you do it the same every time for your work or for your client's work. So with that, the last kind of comment here is, this particular area is not so much about a feature or a demo, is, scaling up as your business expands is really, there's a bunch of periods where a business needs to think about the solutions they're using. And, you can plan ahead, you can deal with it when you're in it, or you can, grow beyond it and finally realize, oh my gosh, we've really gone too far and, the wheels come off, but we need to make a change now to keep the business moving forward. And so I don't know, Brandon, what do you find, when you're talking to companies, small businesses and others, how are they seeing it, when they need to look at a new solution or something new?
Most people, when they find that they need something, they need it yesterday. They're scaling. It's a pain. It's business pain. It's a good pain because they're growing, right? But so some of the conversation that we've had is, if you see the writing on the wall, that you're getting ready to close a big deal. That you're scaling. If we can attack that growth before the pain arises, that's a lot easier than being in the middle of pain and trying to scale up at the same time. So trying to integrate results or any one of the things, the challenges that we need to solve, trying to integrate that software in the middle of your pain is a lot harder than trying to solve it before it gets painful. So, yeah. So if we can attack it before the pain hits, that's always the best case scenario. So, we're talking to a customer that we can see the accounting, we can see the trending, we see that they're growing. So as they're making room for that growth, if we can attack that before it gets challenging, that's always the best place to do it. But if we can be ahead of that curve, right? Is always the best plan of attack.
Yeah, being proactive as humans, like some of us are good at that, and others wait until we really feel the pain. And depends, I guess, in my own life what that thing is. Whether I'm meeting it head on and planning ahead, or in business meeting it head on and anticipating the challenges next quarter. And as in my own personal experience, I've been a part of a lot of growth businesses in my career, and so we've had to prepare for scale and then grow. But I don't always have that luxury, right? Having budget to invest early to grow, big company budget or, venture investment budget. So many of our results clients are small family businesses, and or a growing family business, or a tightly held business that, has a few business partners, and they want to grow, but they want to wait till they can afford to do it. And so we help them think about things, what's when, and when to do it. And one of the things I found, there's a few stages. There's either, hey, there's a big company and they're starting a new business unit. All right, they want to invest in a bunch of systems and they're ready to go and be proactive. But more often it's that small business. And so, and the stages where we find they typically come into that, they're feeling a little bit of pain, is they've grown beyond 2 or 3 people, the small group, and they've got a team and they've got specialized roles. So once you have specialized roles, then and you're doing your job all day long and you don't have time to meet and do your job all day long, you need systems to keep track of stuff and to stay on top of things. And that's that first phase. And then I think another big phase is, hey, we've built that first phase, we have specialized roles and things are going well, but now we've got teams that manage a function. So once you have like managers, now you need new levels of stuff. So like once you start to hire a manager, you got to think, well, are my systems right? And so that's a good indicator of makes probably time to take a step back and assess, are we ready for the next phase of growth? Or another one is, hey, we're adding a new line of business and it's a little different, and the processes to track it are going to be different. So, for example, we've been doing retail and now we're doing wholesale or vice versa, or we've been selling to B2C, direct to a consumer, and now we're going to go into B2B. We're going to start selling into business. So like different process, different people, different skill sets. Those are times we find our clients are saying, hey, we need help. We need to look at how we can do more with results, or they're coming to us and choosing results. And it's that flexibility to help them scale and evolve and build process, identify what those opportunities are for efficiency, and enable their growth through those different phases.
Exactly. And I think we've been in every stage there. So yeah, if there's questions, go ahead and put them in the chat here. But Bob, thank you so much for making time to do this. I'm excited about the next three. And we'll probably end up doing more after that. We'll talk about that. So there is so much we could probably continue for the rest of this year and next year. We're coming up on the end of the year, but I appreciate yours and Jessica's time, certainly the rest of the team. But if there's we'll hold out for a couple more minutes for questions, but I don't have my Q&A pulled up. But
well, that's great, Brand. I appreciate it. In the the opportunity to help businesses and the consultants that support them think about those different growth phases for their clients and that they're going through, and recognize the timing. That's really a value add, being able to say, you're getting into this next phase. How are your systems working? What are some of the new challenges that you are experiencing? And that's an important discovery area for you, I think, or for a client, and to think through. And you can add a lot of value, and sometimes results the right answer. Other times it's other solutions, but those are the phases. And I think thinking about that as well as features and capabilities are important.
for sure. Again, if you're watching this live right now, or you're watching the video that's recorded, if you need more information or want a demo, go back to the person that invited you or sent you this video. Let's make sure that, and they'll get with us so that we can get you a tailored demo and make sure that they get credit for bringing you here. If you're seeing this on your own, or if Bob and his team referred it to you, or we referred it to you, get back with us. We'll be happy to do a tailored demo, answer any questions you've got, certainly on this product. Our next webinar, I just had it pulled up here. is going to be December 14th from 2:30 to 3:30 Central. January 4th and January 18th. We'll also have those posted on Facebook and LinkedIn and make sure that we get the word out on that. But yeah, we'll make sure you join in for that. The next one is going to be over field service management and doing that inside of Results. They have got a killer solution. I think that there's going to be in that industry for sure. They're going to shake up that industry a little bit. So I'm looking forward to doing the demo on that. And I've got some very specific customers, Bob, that we're going to bring into that one. Some that do in the marketing world, and then some that are already in field service management. But I'm looking forward to that one for sure.
Thank you, Brandon. Looking forward to it as well. And thank you all for joining today. And if you've got questions, please, follow up with your team, with Barron's or the consultant who recommended you attend, and or reach out to Results, and we'll want to make sure we ask those questions. We've got my information here if that's helpful, but we want to encourage you to continue to work with Barron's as your partner. Thank you again.